Hello students, welcome to the third video lecture of the chapter called separating of substances. Now in the previous two video lectures what we have seen, let me revise you once more that what we have seen in the two previous lectures. So we have seen many methods of separating the components of some mixtures. So what are the, you can say, processes or what are the methods? First we have seen the hand picking methods. Okay, this is a picture of hand picking. Okay, secondly we have discussed the threshing method. You can see here the picture, this is nothing but the method of threshing. Then we have discussed the winnowing method, this is the process of winnowing. Then we have discussed the method of sieving. Okay, so this is the method of sieving. Then we have discussed the method of sedimentation and decantation. Okay, we have discussed in details what is the method of sedimentation, what is the method of decantation, what are the you can say definitions of these two. Now then we have discussed filtration method. Okay, then we have discussed evaporation. Okay, now in this process we have discussed that what is the process of the making of salt. Okay, now students, here is very important part is that, and these things is very much important for you to know because it is directly related to our environment, that how does it rain. Okay, now what will happen students, we have seen that evaporation is a process where the water gets converted into, you can say, steam. Okay, now the heat of the sun evaporates a large amount of seawater. Okay, it evaporates a large amount of seawater means what students, means large amount of steam will produced or the water vapor will produce. Then the water vapors are also being light, they rises up and condenses to form tiny droplets. Okay, and these droplets of water from clouds, in the clouds, when these tiny droplets of water join to form bigger drops, they just come down to form the rain. Okay, you can see here the picture. So here this is the surface of the water. Okay, so when evaporation, this is the groundwater, this is the surface water. So surface water, when the sunlight falls directly on the surface water, what will happen? This surface water will convert into water vapor, and this water vapor will goes upward because they are very light. And when there are many tiny water vapors are there, so they just form tiny water droplets. Now when there are two or more water droplets, they just form together, so they will bring a much bigger water droplet. So this water droplet come down to the earth because they are much heavier. Okay, and these things we call it as rain. Okay, so this is the whole process of rain, and it is very interesting also. Okay, so I hope you can easily correlate that how rains occur. Okay, or how does it rain. Okay, so this is the process, simpler process. Okay, okay, so let us move to the next part, which is use of more than one method of separation. Okay, so in this portion we will discuss that what are the use of more than one method of separation. We have discussed many methods of separation, but students, what are the use to discuss more than one method of separation? If we know one method of separation, that is enough. If we know the hand picking, we can easily separate. So what is the requirement of other methods? So let us discuss. Sometimes we find that one method is not sufficient to separate the different substances present in the mixture. So in such situation we need to use more than one methods. Okay, so there are some situations where one method is not enough to separate these things. In that case we have to use more than one method. So what are the more than one methods? Let us discuss, or what are the things. So there is an activity. This activity tells that take a mixture of salt and sand. Okay, first of all we have to take a mixture of salt and sand. So we take a beaker, here we take salt. Okay, I am writing here, and here we also take sand. Okay, so basically we have taken a mixture of salt and sand. Okay, Now the thing is that keep the mixture in a beaker and add some water. So we have to add some water also. So here water is also there. Okay. So in this mixture water is also there. So we have taken salt, we have taken sand, we have taken water. Now leave the beaker aside for some time. Salt will dissolve in the water, whereas sand will not dissolve. Okay. Now the sand can be separated by decantation and filtration. So in this mixture, in this whole mixture, we can separate the sand easily by decantation method. Okay. But the water and the salt, how can we separate these two? Now only solution remains in the beaker is water and salt. Okay. Now transfer this liquid to a kettle and close the lid and heat the kettle for some time. Now place few ice cubes in the frying pan and hold the, you can say, slanting position near the mouth of the kettle. So what will happen? You will notice that the steam condenses to form droplets of water trickling down the side of the pan and then start falling down. This process of converting the water vapors into liquid is called condensation. Okay. Students, previously we have seen the method of vaporization. Okay. Vaporization means what? To, you can say, change the water into its vapor. And if we just do the opposite, that when the process of water vapor when change its liquid, this process we call it as condensation. So students, we have thus separated salt, sand and water by using the process of decantation, filtration, evaporation and condensation. So 4 types of methods we have to use to separate these things. Okay. So that's why students, more than one method is very much important, because some cases are there, some facts are there where we can't just even use only one method to separate them. It is not possible by using one method to separate the components. So in that particular case we have to use more than one method to separate the things. Just like here, you can see in this example we have to use 4 processes, 4 methods. What are the 4 methods? We have used decantation, we have used filtration, we have used evaporation, we have used condensation. Okay. Okay, so I hope it is clear to you, students. Okay, so when this type of situation comes, then we have to use more than one method. Okay. Now the next question comes is that, can water dissolve any amount of soluble substance? Okay, so the question is, I am repeating, can water dissolve any amount of soluble substance? Now the answer is, water is a universal solvent. Okay, many substances dissolves in water and form a solution. Let's take that sugar, let's take salt. Okay, let's take, you can say, any other which is soluble in water. There are many examples. Now what will happen if we go on adding more and more of these substances to a fixed quantity of water? Now students, tell me one thing. If we have a glass of water, see, this is our glass of water. Okay, so this amount of water is there. Now if we add 1 teaspoon of salt, if we add then more than 1 teaspoon of salt, if we continuously adding one teaspoon of salt, then one time will come where the salt will not dissolve in the water. Okay, so let us discuss this activity. That take a beaker half filled with water. So this is our beaker which is half filled with water. Add 1 teaspoon of salt and stir well. So first of all we use 1 teaspoon of salt and we stir the solution well until the salt get dissolved completely. Again add a teaspoonful of salt and stir well. Now continue doing so that the salt stops dissolving. Okay, so as we have discussed that if we are keep adding one teaspoon of salt, that what time will come when the salt will not dissolve. This means that no more salt can be dissolved in the amount of water we have taken. This solution is now said to be saturated solution. Very important term, students. I am highlighting this term, saturated solution. So what do you mean by saturated solution? Saturated solution means that when the solution you can say doesn't dissolve any amount of solvent, that condition we call it as saturated solution. Okay, I hope the meaning of saturated solution is clear to you. Okay, now we will discuss the, you can say, definition of saturated solution. So saturated solution, or a solution of a soluble substance which cannot dissolve more of the substance at a given temperature, is called saturated solution. Okay, saturated, here the temperature is very much important, students. Why? We will discuss later. Now can we add more salt to this solution? Let us try. Now activity 9.8 says that take some water in a beaker and mix salt in it until it can't dissolve any more salt. That means we need a saturated solution. Here we can get a saturated solution. Now what we can do? Here we have discussed, students, in the definition of saturated solution, that at a given temperature. Now let us discuss that why temperature is very much important, because when a saturated solution is there, now if we add 1 teaspoon full of salt in that saturated solution, and if we heat the solution, you will notice that the suspended salt dissolves with the rise in temperature. Okay, so if we increase the temperature of the solution, then what will happen? It can get more salt to be added. Okay, now add another teaspoonful of salt and stir the solution. You will notice that it also dissolves. However, if you continue adding salt, at a stage will come when it will stop dissolving. Okay, so let this hot solution cool. Does the salt appear to settle all the bottom of the beaker again? So what the question is? The question is that when we you can say let the you can say solution to cool down, then what will happen? The extra amount of salt will dissolve here. On the basis of the above activity, we can say that larger quantity of salt can be dissolved in water on heating. Now the question arises, does water dissolve in equal amount of different soluble substances? So let us find out. We have discussed the activity to take an example of salt, but there are many more examples. Okay, so in activity 9.9 it is said that take 3 beakers and pour half cup of water, okay, in each of them. Now add a teaspoonful of salt in one basket and stir till the salt dissolves. Repeat the you can say procedure till the salt stops dissolving. That means we need a saturated solution. Now count the number of spoons of salt that dissolves in the water. Now repeat the same activity with sugar and washing soda and complete this table. Okay, so this table you have to do it at your home. What is the table says? This table says quantity or substances of dissolves in water. Substances are there and number of spoons. Okay, number of spoons of substances. For salt, if we take 1 glass of water, if we add 12, you can say teaspoon of salt, and after 12 it will not get dissolved. So you will write here 12. For sugar, you will count the number. If it gets 10, so write 10. If it gets 6, so write 6. Okay. And for washing soda, so you have to complete the table by your own. Okay. So this is all 8, I think, with the chapter. Okay. So what you have to do, students? You have to read the chapter properly. Okay. Just try to understand the concept. If you can't understand, then watch the video again and again. Okay. Read your text properly and then go for the exercise questions. So with these, students, we have completed the chapter separation of substances. Then keep reading, students. That's all for this. Next time we will come to a new chapter, video lectures. Thank you all.